Is your garden still in a deep winter slumber? Do you walk outside, see the tangled mess of leaves and bare branches, and immediately want to turn around and go back inside? You are not alone. March is the month of incredible transformation in the garden, but it can also feel completely overwhelming. It's the ultimate "where do I even start" moment for so many of us. That's why we've thrown out the giant, scary to-do list and created the ultimate 7-day action plan to take you from chaos to control. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, simple, day-by-day checklist to conquer your March garden without the stress. And you'll want to stick around, because Thursday's task is a game changer that most gardeners completely forget. Before we jump into our week, let's talk about why March is so critical. This is the official turning point. The soil is beginning to warm up, the days are getting longer, and plants are waking from dormancy. What you do now sets the stage for the entire growing season. A little bit of smart work in March means less weeding, fewer pests, and healthier plants all summer long. Now, a quick disclaimer: this plan is a fantastic template, but always keep your specific climate in mind. Your last frost date is your most important piece of information. A gardener in Florida will have a very different March than someone in Minnesota. Think of this as your framework. You can shift the days around, but completing all these steps will put you miles ahead, no matter where you live. Let's get started. Our journey begins not with a shovel, but with a plan. Let's call this first step the weekend master plan. Before you do any physical work, you need a strategy. This is when you grab a notepad and a hot cup of coffee. Walk through your garden space. What worked last year? What didn't? Sketch out your garden beds. Decide where your tomatoes, your zinnias, and your herbs are going to live. This helps you understand how much space you really have. Now is also the perfect time to do a final seed and supply audit. Did you order enough bean seeds? Do you have potting mix for your indoor starts? Making a list now prevents those annoying mid-project trips to the garden center later. Finalize your seed orders this weekend. This is also when you should double-check your area's average last frost date. Write it in big letters on your plan. This date will dictate your planting schedule for the next 2 months. A little bit of thinking now saves a ton of work later. All right, it's Monday morning. Time for the great cleanup. Today is all about creating a clean slate. The goal is to remove all the old dead debris from the previous year. This isn't just about making things look tidy. Old plant material, matted leaves, and fallen branches are perfect hiding spots for pests and disease spores just waiting to wreak havoc on your new plants. So, put on your gloves and get to work. Rake away dead leaves from your lawn and garden beds. Pull out any dead annuals from last season that you didn't get to in the fall. If you used a heavy winter mulch for protection on plants like roses or strawberries, gently pull it back now to allow the sun and air to reach the soil and the plant's crown. Cut back the dead stems of your perennials from last year, trimming them down to the new growth emerging at the base. By the end of the day, your garden will look 10 times better, and more importantly, it will be a much healthier environment for new growth to begin. Next up is Tuesday, and we're calling it Tool Time Tune-Up. This might be the most skipped step in all of gardening, but it's one of the most important. Working with dull, dirty tools is frustrating and can even harm your plants. Dirty pruners can spread disease from one plant to another, and a dull shovel makes digging twice as hard as it needs to be. So today we head to the garage or shed. Gather all your tools. Start by giving everything a good cleaning. Scrape off any caked-on mud and rust with a wire brush. Then sharpen the blades on your shovels, hoes, and especially your pruners and loppers. A sharp blade makes a clean cut, which helps the plant heal faster and reduces the risk of infection. You can use a simple hand file for this. Finally, wipe down all the metal parts with an oiled rag to prevent future rust, and check any wooden handles for splinters. Sand them down if you need to. Taking an hour to do this now will make every other task this week, and this year, so much easier. Welcome to Wednesday, where we focus on the soil solution. You can have the best plants and the best tools, but if your soil is poor, your garden will never reach its full potential. Soil is the foundation of everything. March is the perfect time to give it a boost before you start planting. The ground should be workable, meaning it's not frozen and not a muddy swamp. The goal is to add organic matter. This improves the soil's structure, drainage, and nutrient content. The best amendment by far is compost. Spread a generous 1 to 2-inch layer of finished compost over all of your garden beds. You can also use other materials like well-rotted manure, shredded leaves, or peat moss. Once it's spread, gently work it into the top 6 to 8 inches of your soil with a garden fork or tiller. Be careful not to overwork the soil, which can damage its structure. You're just aiming to incorporate the new material. This single step feeds the billions of beneficial microbes in the soil, creating a rich, healthy home for your plant's roots. We've made it to Thursday, and it's time for the Pruning Power Hour. This is the task I mentioned earlier, the one many people are afraid of or simply forget. Proper pruning in late winter or early spring can invigorate plants, improve their shape, and lead to more flowers and fruit. The key is knowing what to prune and what to leave alone. The general rule for March is to prune shrubs that flower in the summer, on new wood. Think of things like butterfly bush or panicle hydrangeas. You can also prune most fruit trees now, before they break dormancy. Focus on removing any dead, damaged, or diseased branches first. Then, look for branches that are crossing or rubbing against each other. The goal is to open up the center of the plant to improve air circulation, which helps prevent fungal diseases. Whatever you do not prune spring-flowering shrubs like forsythia, lilacs, or rhododendrons right now. If you do, you'll be cutting off all of this year's beautiful flowers. We'll save those for after they finish blooming. It's Friday, and we're moving the party indoors for the Indoor Seed Soiree. For many of our favorite summer vegetables and flowers, the growing season just isn't long enough if we wait to plant them outside. Things like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants need a big head start. And today is the day we give it to them. You don't need a fancy greenhouse for this. A simple setup with clean seed trays or small pots, a quality seed starting mix, and a sunny window or a basic set of grow lights will work perfectly. Fill your containers with pre-moistened soil mix. Plant your seeds according to the depth listed on the seed packet. A good rule of thumb is about twice as deep as the seed is wide. Label everything carefully. Trust me, you will not remember what you planted where. Cover the trays with a plastic dome or plastic wrap to keep the humidity high, and place them in a warm spot. Now, the waiting game begins. Check them every day, and once you see the first sprouts, remove the cover and make sure they get plenty of light. Saturday is here, and it's a big day. It's time for cool season sowing. While it's still too cold for our tomatoes and zucchini, many plants actually love the cool, crisp weather of early spring. These are our cool season crops, and we can plant them directly into the garden beds that we prepped on Wednesday. This includes a huge variety of delicious vegetables. Think leafy greens like spinach, lettuce, and kale. Root vegetables like radishes, carrots, and beets can also go in the ground now. And don't forget about peas. They are the quintessential spring vegetable. On the flower front, you can direct sow hardy annuals like pansies or snapdragons. Read your seed packets carefully. They will tell you the best time to sow and how deep to plant the seeds. Planting these crops now means you can get a full harvest in before the summer heat arrives. It's one of the most rewarding parts of spring gardening, giving you fresh food from your garden while everyone else is still waiting to plant. Finally, it's Sunday. We'll call this Weed and Pest Patrol. After all our hard work, the last thing we want is for weeds and pests to take over. Today is about being proactive. The first weeds of spring are starting to pop up now. They may be small, but they are much easier to pull when they are young and their roots are shallow. Take a slow walk through your garden and pull any you see. Getting them now prevents them from going to seed and creating hundreds of new weeds. This is also a good time to look for early signs of pests. Check for slug or snail trails on emerging plants. You can lay down a safe, organic slug bait if they are a problem in your area. If you have deer or rabbits, consider applying a repellent spray around the perimeter of your garden. A little bit of preventative maintenance on a quiet Sunday can save you from a major infestation or a weed jungle down the road. It's the perfect, gentle end to a very productive week in the garden. And just like that, in 1 week, you did it. You've transformed your garden from a dormant, messy yard to a space that is clean, prepped, and primed for an amazing growing season. You've cleaned up the old, tuned up your tools, enriched your soil, pruned for future growth, started new life indoors, and planted the first crops of the year. The biggest takeaway here isn't just about the tasks themselves, but about the power of breaking them down. Instead of facing one giant, scary project called Get the Garden Ready, you now have a simple, manageable daily routine. That is the real secret to a stress-free and joyful spring in the garden. Thank you so much for spending your week with us. If you found this plan helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more easy-to-follow gardening guides. We would love to hear from you. What is the number one task you'll be tackling in your garden this week? Let us know in the comments below.